This is Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello and welcome. I'm Ada Masai with Pulse of Africa News, bringing you the latest stories and updates from across the continent. Nigeria and Mali have reaffirmed their commitment to deepening bilateral ties and jointly tackling growing regional security threats. This followed a courtesy visit by Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mohamed Badru, to Mali's Prime Minister, General Abdoulaye Maïga, on the sidelines of the maiden International Defense and Security Exhibition BAMEX 2025 in Bamako. Badaru, who led Nigeria's delegation to the Continental Security Forum, described Mali's reception as warm and exemplary, noting that both nations share strategic interests that make enhanced defense cooperation vital. Nigeria is committed to strengthening our ties and working closely with Mali to address challenges that threaten peace in our region, Badaru said. The two sides emphasized the importance of collaboration in addressing emerging threats across West Africa, with Nigeria reiterating its readiness to partner with Mali on joint strategies to safeguard regional stability. BAMEX 2025, regarded as a key platform for African nations to exchange ideas and innovations in defense and security, continues to draw high-level participation and support from regional and international partners. The Namibia Rethink West Green Cycle Expo wrapped up in Windhoek, highlighting local efforts to turn West into economic and environmental solutions. The two-day event featured art, manufacturing, exhibitions, dialogue sessions, and networking opportunities, emphasizing ways to repurpose discarded materials. Expo founder Toini Kauloma said valuable recyclables buried in landfills represent a hidden economic loss, and the forum aimed to address this issue while inspiring public awareness. Innovators showcased projects like recycling plastics, cans, and old tires into paving bricks, car mats, and athletic surfaces, while student environmental clubs encouraged youth engagement in sustainable practices. The event also sought to bridge the gap between urban communities and nature, promoting environmentally responsible lives.
They shaped history. They inspired generations. They are the notables. Join us as we honor Africa's greatest minds and trailblazers, the notables, celebrating Africa's icons.
Today, we bring you the story of a son of Ghana, a son of Africa whose claimed strengths touched the entire world. His name, Kofi Ata-Annan.
We need to create a world that is equitable, that is stable, and a world where we bear in mind the needs of others.
A man who's believed that peace is not the absence of war, but the presence of justice and dignity.
The focus on individuals and people is the right one, and if we work in partnership and we all do our little bit collectively, we will make a giant contribution.
The notables, celebrating Africa's icons.
Tunisian Foreign Minister Mohamed Ali Nafti has announced that Tunisia, Libya, and Algeria will hold a second joint task force meeting soon to align positions and adopt common measures to curb irregular migration. He also revealed that a new development project is being prepared at the Ras Jdir border, crossing in coordination with COMESA. Speaking during a parliamentary session on the 2026 state budget, Nafti said Tunisia aims to deepen cooperation with Libya by strengthening economic and commercial ties. Responding to questions from Member of Parliaments, Nafti reiterated that Tunisia refuses to become a country of transit, settlement or disembarkation for migrants. He stressed, however, that Tunisia remains committed to human rights, describing migrants as victims of economic hardship and human trafficking networks. The minister added that Tunisia is increasing its contribution to the International Organization for Migration to expand voluntary return programs, noting that more than 19,000 migrants have returned to their home countries up to October. Kelp is essential to oceans, providing a habitat for numerous marine life and keeping the ocean clean by trapping carbon. It's also long been a part of Asian cuisine, but now a chef in Cape Town is turning seaweed into a gastronomic experience. Here in the waters of Cape Town's southern peninsula, chef Phil Mansurg is stocking up supplies, but he hasn't come for fish. Here's here for the vast kelp forest that lies beneath the waves of the coast of South Africa and Namibia. What's cool about kelp is that there's a lot of it that grows on our coastline. It's highly nutritious, it's a great substitute for pasta, and is super versatile, Mansurg says. And it does not taste anything like you think it might. It's quite neutral. According to local experts, the kelp forest of Cape Town is one of the healthiest and most resilient in the world, fertilized by nutrients from the depths of the ocean. And it also makes for a healthy snack, says marine biologist Professor Emeritus John Bolton of the University of Cape Town. Mansurg is leading the way at his off-grid restaurant, the Kelp Shack. From hollowed-out sea bamboo stuffed with rice to kelp pate, a fermented curdite, his aim is to create beautiful, great-tasting dishes that will change people's perception of kelp. Mansurg established the Kelp Shack in 2018, and it operates on word of mouth and online sites like Instagram. A high-level panel at Lagos Fashion Week titled From Cotton to Catwalk, Unlocking Value Addition in Africa's Textile Value Chains brought together industry leaders to explore strategies for transforming Africa's textile and fashion sector. The panel took place amid growing efforts across the continent to revitalize local textile industries, reduce dependence on raw material exports, and compete in the global fashion market. Africa produces millions of tons of cotton annually, yet most is exported unprocessed, limiting economic benefits and job creation. Speakers at the panel emphasized the need for value-added manufacturing, innovation, and integrated supply chains that connect designers, artisans, and industrial players. The discussion highlighted investment opportunities, local production innovations, and the potential for job creation, industrial growth, and Africa's emergence as a global fashion hub. Panelists noted that coordinated efforts between fashion, finance, and manufacturing, the continent could unlock the full economic potential of its textile resources and move from raw cotton exports to finished, globally competitive products. Now to business news. South Africa could secure its first credit rating upgrade in nearly 2 decades on Friday when S&P Global delivers its latest sovereign rating decision amid investor optimism over its reform efforts. Since 2020, South Africa has been rated as sub-investment grade or quote-unquote junk by all 3 major rating agencies. Analysts, however, now see grounds for an upgrade by S&P to BB from BB-, citing fiscal consolidation and policy improvements. If realized, the new rating would still be 2 notches below investment grade. An eventual return to investment grade could pave the way for billions of inflows of investor money into Africa's biggest economy. Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan highlighted key metrics supporting an upgrade, including a contained peak in national debt, 3 consecutive years of primary budget surpluses, and the formal adoption of a 3% inflation target. Ghana will abolish the 15% value-added tax on mineral exploration and reconnaissance to encourage new investment in its mining sector, Finance Minister Kasil Atoforson announced during the 2026 budget presentation. The tax, introduced 25 years ago, increased costs for companies undertaking high-risk exploration and discouraged greenfield projects. Industry groups, including the Ghana Chamber of Mines, have long called for its removal to restore Ghana's competitiveness in the region. Forson said eliminating the VAT will boost investor confidence, support sustainable mining practices, and curb unregulated prospecting that has damaged forests in waterways. Moving to sport news. Moroccan athlete Kalthoum Aklouf won the gold medal on Friday in the women's 45 to 50 kilogram Muay Thai category at the 6th Islamic Solidarity Games currently taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Aklouf earned her title after a strong and deserved victory against Iran's Farzeh Hassanzadeh Mirzadiki, winning 30-27 in the final fight held at the Boulevard Arena this evening. The Moroccan champion dominated all rounds of the match, scoring 10 out of 10 from the judges in each round, while her Iranian opponent received 9 out of 9. With this gold medal, Morocco's total at the Games has now reached 7 medals, including 2 gold, 2 silver, and 3 bronze. The 2025 edition in Riyadh includes dozens of sports and gathers thousands of athletes from across the Muslim world. Africa's top women's rugby teams are heading to Nairobi for the 2025 Rugby Africa Women's Sevens Cup, taking place on 15 to 16 November at the RFUEA grounds on Ngong Road. 12 national teams will compete over 2 days for the continental title, with South Africa entering as defending champions. This marks the first time Kenya has hosted the tournament since 2014, giving local fans a chance to see first-paced matches, emerging talent, and some of Africa's finest rugby stars in action. The teams are divided into 3 pools of 4, with the top sides advancing to knockout rounds for the championship. The Africa Women's Rugby Sevens Cup has grown since its inception in 2004, becoming a key pathway for African teams to global events like the Olympics. Past champions include South Africa, Kenya, and Tunisia, each contributing to the development of the women's rugby across the continent. Next, let's check the current weather forecast. Thank you for joining us on Pulse of African News. Stay tuned for today's Notables program on Kofi and Nan. Goodbye.